Welcome back to Fantasy Fix. Time now to go between the tackles and give it to our guy who can pick up the tough yards and answer the tough questions. Time for our weekly chat with Marshall Faulk, courtesy of BodogFantasy.net. Marshall, with all the injuries and the poor play around the NFL, how important is it for teams to have a capable backup quarterback in today's game?
Very, very important. And, I mean, if we didn't see something like that, Jacksonville, the case with them letting Leftwich go, Garage stepping in the game. Now Gray comes in. Gray hasn't played a lot of football, end up costing them the game. Bad timing right there for Garage to go down. But you need to have a good backup, a la who would have thought Sage Rosenfeld would have came in and lit up the Titans defense like he did, but he's proven that he's a better relief pitcher than starter.
Hey, Marshall, the Eagle offense looks like it has all the tools, but they're just not putting points on the board. What's the problems with the Birds as you see it?
I was just up in Philadelphia, and I told the fans next year, and I say next year for two reasons. You have to think of this here. Donovan McNabb is coming off a tough knee surgery. That last year we saw Carson Palmer throughout the season. He was inconsistent because guess what? Your legs are inconsistent. And if someone can't be without their legs, it's the quarterback. They need to have their legs underneath them to throw the ball consistently. Sometimes he's on, sometimes he's off. And another thing is Andy Reid, family trouble. Both sons, obviously, if he's just focusing on football, something would be wrong with him. I think that you give the Eagles a pass this year. Right now, they're last in the NFC East. They've always been on top of that division, and I just look for them to kind of next year retool, get Donovan McNabb some weapons, and go after it.
Brian Griese's doing just enough to win for the Bears. Do you see him getting more comfortable in the Chicago offense?
He does. Brian Griese looks great. I was thinking last year that Griese was the guy that they should have put in a lot earlier, and I'm sure Lovie Smith has watched him put up some numbers, brought him back last week against Philadelphia, game that last 1 minute drive to score the touchdown to Musa Muhammad. That's what Brian Griese brings to you, the experience. He's played on teams where, as a quarterback, you're asked to not win games and not lose games, just maintain, and he's doing a great job at that for them.
Tom Brady has thrown 11 touchdowns the past 2 weeks, already has 27 on the season. And ironically, they're not really running the ball, which I thought maybe you can comment on that. But is there anything that can be done to stop the Patriots?
I believe that it's hard to stop them. You have to give them a bunch of different looks. But I don't think there's a defense out there that has the personnel to give them a bunch of looks. And when you think about the Patriots in the running game, you say, yeah, they're not running the ball. They don't need to until up in Gillette Stadium, their home field, until it gets cold and they're forced to run the ball, which I think by then they'll have their horses back. They'll have their running backs, the guys that's been hurt. They'll have them back. They can run the ball then. Right now, they don't need to. Brady's getting an opportunity to have fun. These are the things that when we said that, hey, Tom Brady is just as good as Peyton Manning, he just doesn't have the receivers. Well, he has them now, and we're getting a chance to see it.
And it's been something pretty to watch indeed. And Jets fans are calling for Chad Pennington to be benched, but last week he threw for 3 scores and a loss. You think a change is necessary for the Jets?
I don't know if the change is necessary, but the one thing that I do know, they need to find out what they have in Kellen Clemens. It's been said that Pennington can't throw the deep ball. Up until last week, I believe that I now know that he can. How effectively he can throw the deep ball, I don't know. But somehow they have to find a way to stretch the field vertically to allow their offensive line and Thomas Jones an opportunity to run the football.
All right, Marshall, it's time for you to give us your stud, dud, and sleeper for this week.
My stud this week starts with Carson Palmer. I really like how Jay Cutler cut into the Steelers' defense, and they didn't get a lot of pressure on him. We all know in that AFC North, this is a huge matchup. These two teams have history, and Carson Palmer always plays well in this game. We'll see Chad Johnson and T.J. Houshmandzadeh running through the secondary of the Steelers. My dud, Clinton Portis. One thing the Pats and Bill Belichick do, they always take away what you love to do, and that's running the ball for the Washington Redskins. I see Clinton Portis struggling, and remember this, No young quarterback has fared well in his first battle or second battle or third battle against Bill Belichick. My sleeper goes to John Kitna of the Detroit Lions. The Bears secondary and the Bears defense, they've been hurting. Although they came back and won that game against Philly, Philly moved the ball up and down the field. They just didn't get it into the end zone. John Kitna and the arsenal of receivers that he has over there and that Mike Martz offense that we all know I love, I see them having a good day. Although they don't play well on the road, I think it starts this week.
All right, Marshall, thank you very much. Marshall Faulk taking time from his NFL Network duties to break it all down for us. And as always, we want to thank BulldogFantasy.net. Thanks, Marshall.
Thank you.
Time to find out who